Listen, it's 33 days to the election, and I think most people have made their choice up. And I think this is going to be who gets the vote. To me, I think it's a 50-50 call right now on who's going to win. And you're going to see it all in 7 states, 42 counties, and about 100,000 votes. It's a crazy way to elect a president. I do think, though, going forward, both the House and the Senate and whoever's in the executive side is going to be pro-crypto. I've spent a lot of time with different congressmen and senators. I'm seeing one today on the Republican side. And they all kind of get it now. This is an important technology for America.
Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz has revealed what he believes will be the next big tailwind for Bitcoin and crypto asset prices in 2024. According to the renowned business executive, options trading for spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds could be a huge catalyst for Bitcoin, easily sending the leading cryptocurrency to new all-highs upon final approvals by regulators. Novogratz revealed this huge prediction and other exciting developments in a recent interview with CNBC, highlighting just how important the next few months will be for Bitcoin and crypto asset prices and the overall digital asset space. The billionaire, a frequent visitor to Washington on the issue of crypto regulation, says he is also pretty positive we are only months away from clear, concise, and favorable regulation for the cryptocurrency industry in the United States. He adds that whatever the outcome of the election in November is, he is certain that we will get adequate regulation for the cryptocurrency industry, and anti-crypto SEC Chairman Gary Gensler will immediately get the boot. We will now bring you clips from the interview as Mike Novogratz shares his bullish and optimistic outlook for Bitcoin's price and the development of the entire cryptocurrency industry in the US. Please watch to the end, share and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Yeah, listen, the Fed is going to keep moving rates lower. How fast they do, we'll see. I think Chairman Powell was pretty straightforward yesterday. The data is going to matter. I think he'd like to move rates faster, lower faster, but he's not going to be a kamikaze. And so right now you're pricing at about 33 basis points for each of the next meetings. That's probably fair, and we'll see with payroll and a few other big data points. Listen, I think almost more importantly than what the U.S. is doing is what China just did, right? We've got now the 2 biggest economies in the world, cutting rates and pumping liquidity into the system. And at the same time, we're going to have an election, and either candidate wins, we're going to have a lot more regulatory clarity. And it was really interesting what Walt Bettinger said. He said, well, if we had regulatory clarity, then Schwab would probably be much bigger in crypto. I think there are scores of TradeFi companies and large ones with the exact same idea. And I'm really confident that a year from now, we will have regulatory clarity. I spent a lot of time speaking to people around the Harris campaign. The one thing that comes clear is this is going to be a first-term presidency, not a second Biden term. And that means different personnel, different policies. They are going to shift away from the Elizabeth Warren faction, which really, I think most Democrats realized it was a fool's errand. Like, why are you standing in the way of a technology that's important? I think it's relatively simple what D.C. has to do. They have to pass a market infrastructure bill that's not too suffocating, right? Tell us where we're regulated. One reason we don't have a lot of apps on top of these blockchains is that companies are scared to build. Real companies are scared to build apps on top of blockchains because they're not sure if they're going to get arrested for issuing a token or not. And so once there's clarity, you'll see a lot more innovation on blockchains. And so it's a market infrastructure bill, a stablecoin bill, and it's a direction to the OCC to let TradeFi companies hold crypto on their balance sheets. Those 3 things, and I'll stop going to Washington as the whole crypto community.
What are you hearing as it relates to the ETFs and how big the inroads have been?
That's a slower process than I think the market anticipated, right? Like, a lot of these big platforms are just starting a month ago, starting this month, starting next month. And so I think this will be a, ongoing play over the years, not over the months. The next big jolt to Bitcoin is going to be when we have options that trade on the ETFs. The SEC said they're coming. I don't know if it's in 3 weeks or a month, but we will have
And what
options.
do you think that jolt is worth?
You know, if you look at MicroStrategy as the one place right now you can get leverage on Bitcoin as a retail investor, it trades at more than 2.3 times the value of the Bitcoin it has, mostly because of the options. It is the single, often most weeks, it's the single largest, option stock in the whole market. And that tells me something, that there's a whole bunch of young guys on Robinhood that want to play crypto and want to do it with leverage.
The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission approved options on BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, IBIT, late last month, a development that was immediately appreciated by several prominent Bitcoin investors, including MicroStrategy founder and executive chairman Michael Saylor. Senior Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas shared the news in a social media post, stating that the SEC had granted accelerated approval for the listing and trading of options on BlackRock's IBIT. According to Eric's post, other spot Bitcoin ETF issuers will be approved in short order, an all-round huge win for Bitcoin and crypto as it will attract more liquidity and big traditional investors. Michael Saylor was one of the first people to comment on the importance of the SEC's approval. In his words, the approval will greatly accelerate institutional Bitcoin adoption. Saylor is also looking forward to other developments that will speed up the mainstream acceptance and adoption of the ETFs. These include the SEC exempting banks like BNY Mellon from its SAB 121 accounting rule, which stops banks from being able to custody Bitcoin for their clients. However, further regulatory approval is needed, as the OCC and CFTC are yet to approve IBIT's options listing. That's expected to happen within the next few weeks. The SEC is also expected to give out SAB 121 exemptions to select banks. In another recent discussion with Yahoo Finance, Novogratz again shared optimistic views regarding cryptocurrency regulation after the November elections. Here is a clip from the interview.
Let me say that it was unbelievably painful that the Biden administration was as bad on crypto as they were. Categoric, un-American, unfair. We've had an SEC that literally has lost many cases in court and just persists at being very difficult to deal with for crypto.
Do you think that...
I think Kamala Harris will pivot. I think she's a practicalist. I think she came from an innovation capital of America, so she sees what innovation does, right? She's from San Francisco, or Oakland. So far, the campaign has said they will be a pro-crypto candidate. That's all they've said. And I think they would have said a lot more if the campaign wasn't going so well. Like, she came into office and had this surge of enthusiasm, surge in the polls, and I think my own guess is they're doing a lot of listening and they're not doing a lot of talking because it's working.
Is that a mistake, though? Is that too complacent to sort of take that crypto vote for granted, or to not talk about it?
Sun Tzu, I think crypto's a small piece of the arsenal for them. I think they're looking at that Sun Tzu quote, when your enemy is self-annihilating himself, just step back and allow him, I mean, the Trump campaign is making mistake after mistake after mistake, from eating dogs to, the debate performance. And so I'm hoping from a crypto perspective that they come out and make some more positive comments. I know there's a lot of meetings happening with her advisors, and I think her future transition team that is going to help shape policy. And quite frankly, there's not that much for the government to do. There is an attitude change. There's a market structure bill, a stablecoin bill, directed to the OCC to allow banks to hold crypto on their balance sheet, and some accounting changes. And then we wouldn't have to be in Washington for the next 10 years.
There's one thing you didn't mention that I want to ask you about. You mentioned Gary Gensler. Do you think Harris needs to remove him as head of the SEC?
100%. And I think he's at the end of his term. Like, I think certainly if Trump gets in, there's a different SEC. But if Harris gets in, I'm 96% certain Gensler won't be there. No one wants to start a new regime with someone with that much baggage at this point. And so we'll see what the SEC does in this interim period. How Gensler, does he try to pivot to act like he gets some things done so he can say, yeah, business as usual, or does he stay as stubborn as he's been on some of these issues? We'll see.
In other news, American director and producer Cullen Hoback believes he knows the true identity of Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto and has promised to reveal it in a new HBO documentary, which will be released next Wednesday. According to reports, the documentary titled Money Electric: The Bitcoin Mystery will feature prominent personalities in the cryptocurrency industry, including Blockstream CEO Adam Back and Jan3 CEO Samson Mow. Hoback, a renowned investigative filmmaker, produced the 2017 documentary What Lies Upstream, focused on a chemical spill that led to widespread contamination of drinking water in West Virginia. The documentary was very successful, and many expect that Hoback will put in a similar performance with this Satoshi reveal. Do you think he will be able to successfully pull it off? Please drop your replies and comments on Novogratz's interview in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.